Welcome to King Says So, a channel that advocates for one Africa, one land, one Africa, one language, one Africa, one currency, one Africa, one army. I wish to witness Africans all around the world united as one in our lifetime. Enjoy.
Black Heart, the Hustle Continua. 100% good quality t-shirts, made to inspire your goals and dreams. T-shirts are now available at an affordable price. Place your order now. 068-473-6908. Instagram at Black7576. Facebook page Black Heart.
Number one. That's why white monopoly capital can spend R1 billion to make sure that Ramaphosa is the president of the ANC. Why who does that? They only do it because they are hiring, just like I would hire a security company. They're hiring a security guard to ensure that their interests are protected. We have no time for this parliament. If they said we must get out of parliament, we'll get out tomorrow. For us, parliament is just one of the means that we use to mobilize our people for revolution. There are three terrains of our revolution that we have identified as the EFF. It's parliament, it's the courts, and it's the streets. The courts and the parliament we can dispose tomorrow. We can say we're never going to go back to court. Or we're not going to parliament. One thing we'll never discard is the mobilization of our people on the ground. Personally, I'm against this thing about registration. I actually think that it should be automatic, that if you are 18 and above, you should qualify to vote. Maybe you should be allocated a voting station and so on. Why is it that we don't have to register to be in SARS? Hi, my name is Dali Mpofu. Catch me this Friday on the EFF podcast with Titus Chungu. And remember, vote EFF. 2024 is our 1994. Voila.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy King053, Mr. Easy Imali Enengi, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we are going back to the EFF, the Pan-Africanist political party, and we're speaking about who advocate Dali Mpofu. Before we do that, click the like. It's free to click the like, and if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. And I appreciate it so much, guys. If it's the first time that you've been on this channel, you might want to go and check the other videos up. I'm sure you're gonna like this channel. You can just so much click the subscribe button so that you are a resident here. Dali Mpofu, wow. Guys, let's stop playing around. The EFF has got pedigree in its leadership. As if Dali Mpofu was not enough, they still, the other advocate, Tembeka, they still advocate Busisiwe Mkhobane. Just look at the level of depth in the EFF leadership. Oh, you've got about Sisi Umpile. Wow, man. There's depth in the leadership pool of the EFF. I want to speak quickly about this interview. If you guys, I'm just gonna play two parts of this interview. I'm not gonna waste your time. Go and watch the whole interview. I might just do a part 2 or part 3, depending on how I feel. Because I'm going to rewatch the interview again. I just want to take out 2 points. The first point was the point of the land issue, and the EFF voting with the ANC, or the ANC voting with the EFF. And I want to retouch this thing of the currency manipulation in South Africa. And I want to hit a nerve there a little bit so that you guys can have something to think about there at home. Okay, let's listen first to what he said about the ANC voting against them with the land issue.
Stupid. So if you remove the EFF or beat them up, you're actually mobilizing people to say, why are these ones being beaten up? Why is the DA, when it does exactly the same thing, allowed to walk out nicely from the house? But these ones, at the slightest provocation, you must call the white shirts and beat them up and actually injure. You know, one of our commissars, Renelwe, still has injuries. Our former SG, Gotrich Gadi, still has back injuries because they were assaulted by the state. And these are public.
For refusing to being security guards, by the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely, for challenging them as you know, as protectors of white privilege. Remember the first thing we did when we got to Parliament in 2014. We had 6%. The ANC had 62%, which meant that together we had the 2/3 majority needed to bring back our land, for example. And we offered that 6% to them. And they said no. Why? Not because they don't know that we need land, not because they don't know that the economic fortunes of our people reside in the land, but because their job was to protect the white privilege of the land that had been dispossessed from black people over a period of almost 400 years. And to stand there and say, no, you can't touch this land. Let the boss continue to own it. And so that's the relationship.
I think I'm one of the only YouTube Pan-Africanist channel that has criticized the unity of ANC and EFF when it comes to the Palestine assembly. What do they call it? The Palestine issue, Palestine and Israel as ambassador office there in Pretoria. I said, why is it that the ANC can vote with the EFF with this Palestine issue, but when we come to issues that affect the people in South Africa, for example, land issue, the ANC does not want to vote with the EFF because the EFF is the one that is bringing the motion first. In fact, the EFF shouldn't be the one that brings the motion first. The ANC should be fighting for us to get the land back, but it's not. It takes another political party that is small, that is not even that can compare to the ANC when we speak about age and depth in terms of history. Why is it that this EFF that was born 10 years ago is the one that is fighting for the land? They bring the motion in Parliament. ANC refuses to vote with them. But when we come to other issues like the Israel issue, they are voting together. I don't understand what's going on in Parliament. I really don't understand what's going on. Is it true that the ANC is really protecting the interest of the minority in order that the majority must suffer? Could it be true? Definitely. There's no, I don't see any other reason why the ANC would not vote with the EFF if they were not protecting some type of minority, some type of business interest on the side, some deeper things. Because what I have learned is that actually government does not run the country. You know, government does not run the country. The private sector runs this country. They've got better hospitals, they've got better land, they've got better roads, they've got better everything, better schools. You know, the private sector is running this country. So the government can't go completely against the private sector because they believe that they will suffer in terms of the value of the rand. Of which now it brings me to this thing of the rand manipulation. You guys don't understand how big this land these 28 banks manipulating the currency of all African countries. I'm gonna go ahead and say all, because I don't believe they will do it to South Africa alone. It's not possible. In fact, they've been doing it in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwean dollar has got no value. You have to have but you have to have money in a wheelbarrow to go and buy in Zimbabwe. They don't even use that Zimbabwean dollar anymore. They're using the US dollar and the South African rand. Imagine in Zimbabwe, because they took the land by force, the colonizers took the currency. They said, okay, it's fine, you can take the land because you want to kill us, you want to do everything, you want to do everything that we did to you. You want revenge, you don't want equality. Like in South Africa. In South Africa, we want equality, we don't want revenge. So there's no revelation that is going to come, revolution that is going to come. There is nothing that is going to change in South Africa as long as we still want equality and not revenge. And by revenge, I don't mean death, killing people. No. I mean by taking back by force what is rightfully ours, if it's not surrendered. Because when you surrender, we'll talk nicely to you. But if you don't want to surrender, we will take it by courts, by the judiciary system, will take it by law back. Not like Zimbabwe, the way Zimbabwe did, just going on the streets, killing and taking everyone's things back. They gave them their land. They said, okay, take back the land. But what we're going to do, we're gonna manipulate your currency so that Zimbabwe can be one of the poorest countries in Africa. What happened? Mnangagwa, when he was president, he then went back to the white farmers and said, please come back and farm. Please, we are begging you, come back and farm. We'll give you your money back. Imagine calling white farmers back and giving them, they call it reparations. Huh? Let's quickly hear what Dali Mpofu said, because he was one of the people that were involved in the case where the state was suing these banks, was investigating these banks some time ago. Let's listen to what Dali Mpofu said.
And, on that story of currency manipulation, the EFF has always been in the forefront calling for a state bank. Do you think that will be the solution that will end manipulation by private sector?
Yes,
in the main banks.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Remember, when we talk about the Freedom Charter said that the banks and monopoly industries will be in the hands of the people as a whole. That's exactly the point. The banking system is the nerve center of any economy. And for example, the discussion about the nationalization of the Reserve Bank is not a cosmetic thing. Imagine if you had a Reserve Bank that was totally in the hands of the people of South Africa, then you would be sure that the regulation of the banks is going to be rigorous because it is going to be in our interest. And therefore, the rand manipulation would not have happened, or it would have been picked up early, or it would have been prohibited and dealt with. But they don't see that connection. When we talk about the state bank, that's exactly the point. A state bank could never manipulate the rand against the interests of you and me who have to buy bread and milk and so on. And it would therefore serve as a bulwark against the private banks to the extent that you allow private banks to exist. And so these are things that they think we're just churning out slogans when we talk about nationalization, for example. But it's because you want to have public control of these assets. Because the private sector, if the private sector owns Eskom.
So when it comes to this rand manipulation thing, I want to say, not rand manipulation, African currency manipulation. Why are we not properly angry about this issue? Ladies and gentlemen, why singakwatanga? Why re sa kwata pila sharp sharp? Whatever you're going to buy tomorrow, you'll be buying it with a wrong price. Whether you're buying a car tomorrow, you're buying bread, milk, water, whatever you're going to purchase tomorrow or today is with a wrong price. Why is it with a wrong price? Because our currency has been proven to be manipulated. Meaning, no African country knows actually how much their currency is worth. The worth of their country, their currency, excuse me. Nobody knows. Only these stupid fools who are playing with the exchange markets know actually how much our currency is. Why? Because most African countries don't own their own reserve bank. You don't print your own money, number one. Gabon, what you call this country? Niger specifically, Niger's money was being printed in France, then sent back to Niger. In France, that money that was printed for Niger was not working there. It was worthless. It was just a piece of paper. When it goes back to Niger, it loses quality. It loses worth. It's useless. You guys, African countries don't know how much their currency are worth. All of them. All 54 villages. Is it 54 or 53 villages in Africa? Africa is one country with 54 villages and 54 regional heads. That's what you guys call presidents these days. We've got regional heads. South Africa is a region. Its head is Cyril Ramaphosa. You understand? Burkina Faso is a region. Its head is Abraham Traore. It's regions. We are one country, that is Africa, with regions. So now these heads of the regions must now select the head of the country. They must come sit down and select the head of the country. So we vote for I'm just speaking about One Africa, One Land now. Sorry for that. We're speaking about we choose here in South Africa. Let's say, for example, we choose Julius Malema as the president of the region. We will then every region that is chosen, meaning Zimbabwe is a region, Lesotho is a region, Central Africa is a region, Congo, Kenya, everywhere, Senegal, Libya, Egypt, everywhere. The regional heads will then put 5 names where they would need to choose the president of the African country. It's possible, guys. India has got the same population as the whole of Africa. India has got 1 president. China has got even more population than Africa, apparently. If you check the numbers, 1 point something billion, 1 president. It's possible that in Africa we can have 1 president. It's just that you guys don't want it. But because you don't want it, you will continue to suffer. You will continue to suffer. They will divide and conquer us. Why? Because they will know how to manipulate our rent. Somebody asked on the comment section, King, where is the BRICS currency? Because the BRICS, when they met, they said, no, listen, we want to have our own currency to challenge the dollar, but now they have postponed that agenda because they want to include more countries. The more the BRICS agenda is being successful, the more the African agenda will die. Why? Because BRICS has got India, Russia, and China in it. Why should Africans unite with countries that are outside Africa to form a currency? Why? Why? And why is it that China and India and Russia are so concerned about African moves? Why are they? Why do they have their hand in the cookie jar in our country? That's what we must ask themselves. They see the potential, they see the power. So they want to be part of that power by assisting us by building roads, infrastructure, and giving us aid and all of this nonsense. And at the end, they're going to be part of everything that Africa is doing so that their countries can remain to be rich, will never close the gap between India and Africa, and China and Africa. China will always be number one in the whole world. So yes, that's what I wanted to speak about, guys. The currency manipulation is a big thing. It's a big thing. We'll never know how much our currency is worth until we've got serious professors and serious intellectuals and people who study the financial market and can influence the financial market. Because if you study it and can't influence it, you are useless. You're just like me and you. And then Africa forms its own currency. Until Africa forms its own currency, have its own reserve bank, has got its own central bank, has got branches of that central bank everywhere in Africa. There shouldn't be a country, a region in Africa that does not have that bank. Then, only up until then, and remember what I'm telling you is not an easy thing. It's easy once you start, but as long as you are talking about it, it will never. It's like wanting to lose weight. As long as you are talking and you don't start with the dieting, you don't start with the exercises, it looks like an impossible task. But once you start, it becomes easy, just like that. So that's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much, guys. If you're new on the channel, please consider going on to the old videos, watching them, because you are at home here. You need this Pan-Africanist channel to educate and resurrect your Pan-Africanist spirit from within, so that your ancestors can be proud of you as an African brother and sister. Thank you so much, guys. Until we meet next time, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to show some love on the comment section. Don't forget to click the like button. And don't forget to pray. And after you pray, stand up and do your best so that God can do the rest. I salute you. Peace in Pan-Africanism.